Before I get started with the story, I have to thank everybody who bear with me with the strike that I got on my channel. And I couldn't upload stuff for a week, so I wasn't able to get to certain stories. So if it seems like I'm reaching back a little bit to stories that may have already been covered, that's why. It wasn't, of course, it wasn't intentional. There's a lot of stuff that I wanted to talk about that I wasn't able to, but I'm reaching back a little bit now to cover those stories, and I'm going through my emails, and I got so many emails that I'm going through right now. Another reason is because I ran out of stuff to talk about. As many of you know, this past weekend I did some traveling, so I wasn't able to record anything. So now I have to play catch up even when I was trying not to do so. But that's fine because I know that I'm going to be able to handle this, and we'll get back on track. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and get into the story right here that I actually did hear about, and many people wanted me to talk about it. And there was this incident that occurred in LA, of course, with the LAPD. Of course, they are like in the top 5 most corrupt departments in America for me. I mean, most of them are corrupt, but some are just leaps and bounds ahead of others. And it says right here, the LAPD officers allegedly circulate mock Valentine with George Floyd image reading, "You take my breath away." And I think I actually saw the picture of the actual mocking that they used, but I'm not going to post it up here. It was posted on February 14th, which was Valentine's Day. And it was actually updated again on the 16th, even though it doesn't say so right here. It says the Los Angeles Police Department has opened an internal investigation after an inappropriate image of George Floyd, the man killed in police custody in Minneapolis last year, was reported to have been circulated in the department. The image was styled in an unspecified Valentine-like format with the words "You take my breath away," according to an internal memo posted on Twitter, and what Chief Michelle Moore told the Los Angeles Times on Saturday. The department is aware of the inappropriate post, and a complaint has been initiated, and due to personnel matters, we are unable to comment further, said Officer Rosario Cervantes, a spokeswoman for the Los Angeles Police Department. Another spokesman, Stacy D. Spell, confirmed that an administrative personnel investigation has been initiated, but said that he could not comment on its specific details. George Floyd, a black man, died in May after being handcuffed and pinned to the ground under the knee of Derek Chauvin, who was then a terrorist in Minneapolis, for more than 9 minutes. In video footage, Mr. Floyd can be heard uttering the words "I can't breathe" more than 20 times. Mr. Chauvin, age 44, has been charged with second-degree murder and second-degree manslaughter. Mr. Floyd's killing incited a social justice movement nationwide as people marched for weeks in cities, including Los Angeles, across the country, protesting police brutality and systemic racism. The marches were largely peaceful. At times, the protests descended into chaos and violence, with looting and the burning of buildings. In Los Angeles, the protests called to mind the riots that occurred nearly 30 years earlier after 4 terrorists were acquitted for the assault of the beating of Rodney King. The beating, which happened in 1991, was captured on film and was one of the first viral videos of a black man being abused by the police. The police department said on Twitter on Saturday that it was aware of the suggestions that the image of Mr. Floyd was being passed around the department, and that this image was in the workplace, and that it might have been authored by a department employee. The employee who brought the image to the attention of the officials will be interviewed, the department said. It added that the department had not identified any actual postings in the workplace or identified that it was in fact our department employee who created the image, but it had directed commands to survey the work sites for it. If the image is found, any employee or supervisor is directed to take possession and identify those present, the police department said. The department will have zero tolerance for this type of behavior. They always say that, but let's be real here. They have tolerance for it because it continues to happen. Chief Moore came under fire after he referred to looters and said during a virtual briefing in June that the death of Mr. Floyd is on their hands as much as it is on those terrorists. And that is a strong statement, Chief Moore added. He later apologized on Twitter, mainly because they probably got in his ass about it. He later apologized on Twitter. While I did immediately correct myself, I recognize that my initial words were terribly offensive. Looting is wrong, but it is not the equivalent of murder, and I did not mean to equate the two. I deeply regret and humbly apologize for my characterization. He added, let me be clear, the police officers involved were responsible for the death of George Floyd. The Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti announced in June that his administration would seek to cut $100 million to $150 million from the police department's budget and look for ways to spend it on other community programs. This right here doesn't surprise me. I've done so many stories in the past about the LAPD and their corruptness for a lot of different reasonings. So this right here doesn't even surprise me in the least bit. And this is why there's a huge distrust between the police and black people as it is now. And then they have the nerve to sit up there and try to act dumbfounded as to why we feel the way we feel about them, when they know good and goddamn well why it is we feel the way we do. But they can go somewhere, all the way somewhere with that one, and sit the you know what down somewhere, because they know what they did was messed up. They know what they did was messed up, but they did it anyway. And they thought it was funny. And the thing is, they do stuff like this, and here's what's so just, I guess, whatever about the whole thing. They do stuff like this and expect not to get reprimanded for it. And then when they do, they want to send out this BS apology or saying we didn't mean it like this. Oh, it was a joke. Not everything is a laughing matter. But you know what? You know what is funny? Them opioid overdoses that they just can't seem to get a grasp on. You know what? I think I need to start going back to those. I haven't done a good opioid video in quite some time, and I think someone has sent me something the other day, but I can't remember if they did or if they didn't. Even if they didn't, maybe I need to go in search of some. That way we can have a good laugh at their expense. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this. You know what? And maybe that can take their breath away. Lord knows it has been for quite some times. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Make sure that you follow me on make sure that you text the number that is pinned down in the comments below so you can receive notifications every time I upload a new video.